Okay, hi everyone. So this is going to be a Friday Reads and a tag video because my Friday Reads I only have one book that I want to show you. Um, I'm going to read other books, but they are in ebook form and I don't have a physical copy to show you. So the ebooks that I am reading right now are, and I will continue to be reading into the weekend and hopefully finish by Sunday, are Interworld by Neil Gaiman, and it's a collaborative work, so there's another author, but I can't remember his name right now. Um, so far, it's it's kind of a disappointing read. I expect a little bit more refinement from Neil Gaiman, I suppose, and the reading is not bad. It's just kind of an average book. Um, it's not the high quality that I was expecting. Maybe I was expecting too much. I don't know. It's about interdimensional travel. And what was the okay? And the other book that is not that I don't have a physical copy of is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. So far, it's a quick read, but I'm enjoying it. Um, the quality's pretty good. The characters are interesting. I like it so far, and I believe I've read it in, I want to say, in high school. It might have been like early in college, like maybe my first year of college. And I just read it to get through it. So I wanted to reread it and see if I can just, enjoy it without um, having to worry about getting through it for a class. And I have The Handmaid's Tale. This is the physical copy, um, obviously. I'm going to finish it hopefully over the weekend. Fingers crossed. So those are three books I'm gonna try to get through over the weekend. I will probably finish Interworlds tonight because it's a really simple book. Um, it's not very high quality. It's just kind of an average book, and I'll probably finish it quickly. Um, so that's that. And now for the tag. It's a book slash writer tag. Um, and the idea comes from a writer's book that I read. Let me see if I okay. And the idea is to write down your ideal list for uh, elements of books that you like. So, what would your ideal book be like? What you do is you write down a list of 10 to 25 characteristics of books that you enjoy, and then you can like shuffle the characteristics and write down 3 to 5 um, ideal books. Now, putting random elements together doesn't necessarily make for a great book, but this is just like theoretical. We're just playing with ideas. So I'm gonna go through my list of um, I have 25. I'll probably only read 20. For this tag, I'll say if you can get 10 elements of your favorite kinds of books, then that will qualify for this tag. All right, so my first one is to have a strong female protagonist or main character, preferably one that saves the world. Whatever her world happens to be, it might be the Earth, it might be her family, it might be some part of her identity. It's just whatever the world means to her. Um, Books with robots in them, preferably the intelligent, um, the not the like monster robots, but the ones that are can communicate, and so I suppose humanoid robots, or not even necessarily humanoid, but of that level of intelligence, so that they can communicate and they aren't necessarily just violent monsters. Um, all right, and three, magical elements or technology that is like magic. For utopian society meets modern or dystopian society, and how the interaction changes the utopia or the dystopia. Um, Synesthetic or synesthete characters, people with special perceptions or abilities to perceive the world in unique ways. A synesthete, someone who has synesthesia, is a person who can like smell colors or experiences shapes when words are spoken, or basically someone who kind of has their sense of uh, the world is a bit different. And I haven't seen people really deal with synesthesia in a fiction work. I have read some nonfiction on the condition, but I would like to read some kind of nonfiction, some kind of fiction on it. Um, People who have telepathy, empathy, or are highly sensitive or sensate. Uh, Alien civilizations. This is number 7. Alien civilizations, languages, societies, highly developed cultures. Number 8. Elves, fairies, she or other mythical beings, preferably humanoid, but like centaurs or dragons or anything like that is an interesting book to me. Retellings of fairy tales, because I just love fairy tales. Books set in ancient civilizations like Sumeria, ancient Egypt before the the kingship, before dynasties. Clan of the Cave Bear comes to mind. Like when I say ancient, like before kingships. Um, Finding lost civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria. Those are always interesting books. Books with interesting social kinship groups that are like non-nuclear families, extended families, or interesting social arrangements. Um, Libertarian or anarchist philosophy. I like libertarian science fiction. Um, Strong religious or spiritual cultures. Um, People who have a respect for nature, or are animist, or very deeply connected to some kind of spiritual path. Lush environments, forests, oceans, mountains. Um, Number 16 now. Historical fiction, especially of the mythical kind. So, fiction about mythical um, figures, or even biblical figures, like Moses or Deborah or Rebecca or Achilles. Achilles is a book I want to read. Books set in India, Scotland, Ireland, New Zealand, basically lush environments or really green places, or just interesting, having interesting physical environmental features. Books with witches or other deeply spiritual people. So not necessarily the kind of witch that's kind of like just slinging magic around or pointing wands at people, but uh, someone who is grounded in a particular uh, social structure and spiritual tradition. Books with non-human villains. I really like the idea of the non-human villain. Um, Human villains are not interesting to me. Okay, lush, poetic, or lyrical language, particularly story books that are set in verse. Um, Coming of age stories, particularly involving women. Significant symbolism or dream imagery or allegory. What comes to mind is Their Eyes Were Watching God. There are some allegorical stories in there that are really interesting. There's one about death, and then there's one about uh, angels and the fall of man. It's really interesting. Um, Let me see what else. Books with goddesses, or a bent toward a very deep respect for nature or for the earth. Um, social, science fiction, high fantasy, and feminist science fiction are my genres generally. Okay, books with natural disasters, um, ice ages, floods, that sort of thing. Okay, so here's my list of three ideal books from the list, just kind of put together. Female robot in utopian society meets dystopian society, and the interactions there and what happens. Also, civilization suffered natural disaster. It could be the utopian society or the dystopian society has suffered a natural disaster, and the robot has to save the world. Alright, 2. Witch lives in a forest, meets some mythical beings. Non-human villain tries to destroy the forest. Must The witch must find a way to save the world. 3. Sleeping Beauty retelling with robots and sensate humans during an ice age. That one I just put together in the last, just just for fun. So that's it. And I'm gonna stop this video before it gets way too long. Sorry. Everybody's tagged who sees this. Okay?